confused. If the individuals in question have done something so bad that their citizenship has to be deprived, why would we not simply jail them? Why would we need to deprive their citizenship?
I hope the Honourable Lady heard the point that I was making just a moment ago, that the reason that the government has brought forward this legislation is in response to a recent Supreme Court decision where an appeal against deprivation essentially resulted in a requirement to bring forward this clarification of the law.
Perhaps again, I'm completely confused. I still do not understand his very specific example at the beginning aside, why if these individuals posed such a huge threat, other pieces of legislation would not deal with them in terms of keeping the public safe. And you did also point to the fact that somebody could actually win their appeal and you still wish to deprive them. And I want to understand under which circumstances someone's appeal could be upheld by a judge and you would still wish to deprive them of their citizenship.
Forgive me, I don't think I did say that. I think the opposite of that. But very happy to discuss this matter with her further. I hope that she understands, and as I hope that I have made clear, this bill is incredibly narrow in its scope. This bill seeks to take us back to the legal position that we were in a matter of months ago, prior to the judgment of the Supreme Court. This doesn't in any way undermine the right of appeal. If she has further concerns about it, I'm very happy to speak to her further. But I can give her an assurance, and she's very welcome to look at the bill. It won't take her very long to read it. It is 2 clauses, a single substantive clause, specifically designed to take us back to the legal position that we were in just a few months ago. So I hope that she will be reassured by that.
I agree that the most important role of any government is to keep its citizens safe, but I do not believe that citizenship is a privilege. I actually believe that it's a right. And I also don't believe that the Minister answered my questions adequately earlier. I want to understand why, if somebody was such a huge threat to this country, we could not deal with them under other pieces of legislation. And if that is the case, are there not other pieces of legislation that require our attention in this regard? I really worry because it feels that this could turn due process on its head and that we wouldn't necessarily accept it in any other branch of justice. And I hope the Minister understands that following the Windrush scandal and the case of Shamima Begum, that there is a sense of nervousness amongst many communities when any legislation that touches and concerns citizenship is brought to this House. And it's for good reason. They worry that it disproportionately goes against people of colour or people who are British-born or long-settled individuals whose heritage or ancestral links are outside of Europe. And the idea that their citizenship can be revoked because they could be eligible potentially for another nationality is problematic, and that is a fear that many hold. Now, I always worry about legislation that seems to circumvent the judiciary, so I would ask the Minister to consider these concerns and please answer my questions. I understand that he was talking about a very, very specific case, but he does need to be able to apply it to many of the different examples that people have put before him to this House, because as he's heard many times before, deprivation of citizenship is an extremely serious thing to do, and we want to make sure that it's only happening in the absolute most extreme cases. Yeah. Thank you. Does the honourable member believe that just by looking at me and my honourable friend next to me, that the people who this decision, this particular piece of legislation would apply to, could look like us?
Well, the Honourable Lady makes the point powerfully. I don't know. But she does. And what this legislation leaves people, yes, people of from minority backgrounds or second or third generation immigrants, or like my children who are of 2 parents of different nationalities, it leaves them with a lingering sense of doubt about how secure they are in this nation.
I hope he understands the assurances I've been asking for. And again, this will be the 3rd time I ask this. I genuinely want to understand why someone who is of such danger to our public cannot be dealt with under other pieces of legislation. quite obviously because at the moment it seems that you cannot even seem to stop them from coming into the country because of the legislation as it exists. And I also want to say he keeps saying that this doesn't widen the situation under which people can be deprived of their citizenship, but it actually does. It does on the basis that someone can win an appeal and then be told that they're not going to be given their citizenship back because the government has further rights of appeal. So it does widen that situation. So genuinely, we do need those assurances and understanding as to why such dangerous people cannot be dealt with under other pieces of legislation.
I have to say to her, I don't agree with the second point that she has made. This bill has been very carefully and very narrowly drafted, and I don't think it does the things that she has said that it does. In terms of why the government would seek to use these powers, I hope she understands that this government, as I'm sure was the case with the previous one, will do everything that we possibly can to keep the public safe and protect them from high-harm individuals, extremists, terrorists, serious organised criminals. And this government, as was the case with the previous government, considers that this is an appropriate, necessary and proportionate way in which to do that. And I hope the public and I hope the House